Do you have a problem with having too many carry guns and you don't know which one to grab and you're just overwhelmed with all the choices? Well, I don't have an answer for you because today we're going to be doing another carry pistol. So stay tuned. Hey heathens, it's Gun Deity, and I got a really cool gun to show off today. It is a gun that has been on the market for a little while from a company that everyone knows. This company has been around in the United States for over 100 years. Matter of fact, the very first pistol they offered was over 100 years ago. And then they stopped making pistols. A few years back, they reintroduced their pistol lineup with the Mossberg MC2C, which I had that pistol when it first came out. I thought it was a great little pistol. Took Glock 43 mags, took Sig sights. Very nice option out there for a concealed carry gun. The problem is companies like Sig also introduced the P365 a little bit before then. So the double stack micro series of pistols was already in full swing when that pistol was introduced, which kind of made it almost obsolete. Well, Mossberg then in 2020 came out with another option. Yes, this is a little bit of an old pistol to do a review on, but I got my hands on one, so I am doing the review on it. Today we're going to do the review on the Mossberg MC2C. First of all, I want to thank Mossberg for sending this pistol out to me. They did send this out to me for review. They did not ask me for any positive review. They didn't even give me any pointers to look for. They just sent out a gun and said, hey, do you want to do a video on it? Of course, I'm going to have to do a video on it, right? So this video is not sponsored by Mossberg, and it is not in favor of Mossberg in any way. It's just a review on a pistol that I got my hands on. But we're going to go over the MC2C. This is a pretty neat pistol from Mossberg. Like I said, it was introduced in 2020, January of 2020 to be sure. This pistol was marketed to go after like that Glock 19 size pistol. 4-inch barrel, double stack magazine, right around 15 rounds of magazine capacity. Definitely going after that initial size of gun. What I don't think Mossberg thought about when they introduced this gun is it doesn't actually go after that size gun. Now, they advertise that this is basically your Glock 19 size gun. Well, I have a Glock 19 here. Let's go ahead and check it out. So when you go beaver tail to beaver tail, they are virtually the same size pistol. But to me, the biggest difference is when you put them back to back or side to side there. If you could see, the MC2 is very, very thin and much thinner than a Glock 19. I think personally it goes after a different size of gun that was more necessary for them to go after. We'll start with the specs of this gun and then I'll compare it to a gun that I think it's very similar to. Starting out, we're going from nose to rear. This is a 3.9-inch barrel. We got nice front cocking serrations on the front end here. You got a very nice textured grip area here for your thumb, memory pad for your thumb or your index finger when you are not putting your finger on the trigger. Got a single slot Picatinny rail. Granted, right now I have a Warrior Land Crossbow MA2 on this guy. I'll go into details why in a moment, but that's what I have on this guy right now. Got a very nice flat face trigger. We'll go over the trigger pull and reset on that in just a moment, but very nice flat face trigger. Moving on across, we have an optics cut on top here. This is for that RMSC pattern. Right now I have a Romeo 0 on there. Very nice little optic for these micro-sized pistol optics. Going down, you got a very nice grip cocking serrations back here. If you notice, you got that weird slant cut in it, and that is designed because it gives you the most grip on that to get a nice racking of the firearm. I like it. It is not overly intrusive, and it does its job just right. Moving on down, you got a really nice high beaver tail. Lets you get it really high on that gun and allows that recoil to stay low because you can manage it at that right axis of bore. And it keeps you planted so that way you don't have a whole lot of muzzle flip. I like it. Lets you get really high without getting your hand chopped up by the slide. This specific gun has night sights on it. That's the SKU that they sent me was the night sight option, which I am a fan of night sights, so I like that this one had it. Going on down, you have this really unique grip texture pattern. You notice it's got no grip texture here, a little bit of grip texture here, none here, and then back to grip texture, and then none over here. I think Mossberg realized what parts of your hand actually hold on to the grip, and that's what they decided to put grip texture on. Because the spots where there's no grip texture, your hand really doesn't touch. So it's kind of nice that that's the way they did it. And they figured you were going to run a thumbs forward grip because they didn't put any grip texture here either. One-handed shooting, granted, you're not going to have any texture to hold on to your thumb there, but not too many people are one-handed shooting anyways anymore. Going on to the front and back strap, you got a little bit of a finger groove there. Nothing crazy, but enough to get really high on the grip. And that trigger guard is actually flared out right there where your finger would match up, so you don't get that Glock knuckle. It's got a tiny bit of grip texture on the front and back strap. They're not really useful in my opinion. I think it's cool that they added grip texture. I think they could have gone a little bit more aggressive on that front and back strap, in my opinion. This gun is pretty cool because it does come with a pretty large magazine capacity straight from the factory. So, first of all, you get a 14 round flush fit capacity on there. So, right after that Glock 19 size, because Glock 19 runs 15. And you get an extended mag straight from the factory. This extended mag does extend the grip a little bit, gives you a little bit nicer purchase, and it gives you 2 extra rounds because this is a 16. And these come straight from the factory like that, which is kind of nice. You get 2 decently capacity mags straight from the factory. Now, to get into what I think this gun more goes after, and yet again, I think it is more important that they went after this size gun than the Glock 19. Glock has a different gun that is closer in size to this than the Glock 19. And that's the Glock 48. Now, look, as you can see, when you put these beaver tail to beaver tail, yet again, virtually the same size pistol. I keep flagging myself. All right. But they are virtually the same size in width as well. Grip is pretty close to the same. All the way around, the guns are pretty much the same, except for one major feature. Everyone that is a Glock fan does know that the Glock is a 10 round single stack magazine. Compared to the flush fit magazine on the MC2 is, see, 14 rounds. So you get 4 extra rounds out of the same size gun. Now, there are aftermarket magazines that are 15 rounds for this guy. When you get into aftermarket, you get into lesser reliability. So, is it worth going for the aftermarket mags on this guy? We'll find out. All right, so we got 16 rounds in the extended mag for the MC2. And we're going to compare it to the Glock 48 with a Palmetto Dagger Compact 15 round magazine. This is one of the aftermarket offerings you can get for the Glock. So let's go ahead and shoot a couple rounds with the MC2, and then we're going to shoot a couple rounds with the Glock and just see if there's a felt recoil difference between the two. I will say that is pretty snappy, but like I said, it is a micro pistol, so not a big deal. Let's go ahead and see how the Glock feels. Whew. Honestly, let's do them back to back. Can't hit anything. There we go. Okay, so I'm a little bit more accurate with the Glock. I'm used to shooting Glock, so that's me. That has nothing to do with the pistol. Has everything to do with me. But I will say, in felt recoil, this thing is aggressive, but I think it's less than the Glock. What it feels like in the hand, I kind of like the Mossberg a little bit more for its, I don't know, there's just something about the Mossberg that feels a little bit more comfortable to shoot. It doesn't feel like it's beating up my middle two fingers like the Glock does. With the Mossberg, it does, I don't know, it just feels like a really good quality pistol. Now, let's go ahead and get into pros and cons. I've shot this for about a month now. I've had this pistol, and I've taken it out many times. Unfortunately, I had some camera issues many times, so that's why this video took so long to get out. But that being said, let's go over the pros of this guy first. Pros. Out of everything that I've put through this guy, this gun has been extremely reliable. All right, we got it loaded up with a couple different versions of a Sig V-crowns. We have the 365s and the standard V-crowns in here. So the different shapes and different sizes. We're gonna see how this guy feeds hollow points, because that's an issue with micro pistols. Fed them just fine. So far, no issues. I have a few rounds of aluminum case CCI to check out and see how she does. Fed the first round just fine. Put steel case, I've put brass, I've put hollow points in this guy, and it's fed everything. Haven't had any issues. I didn't even put lubrication on this gun before I test fired it, and it ran flawlessly right out of the box, which is what I expect from a modern pistol. You shouldn't need to do any major cleaning or lubrication right out of the box. Should you? Yes. But should you have to? No. Second thing is accuracy. And I say this with an asterisk because this is also part of my cons. But accuracy, once I find the hold on this guy, it hits pretty much where I need it to hit every time after that. And mounting the optic and zeroing it to the sights, it has not moved even the slightest bit. This thing is still rock solid. So the gun is well built. It is an actually very accurate little pistol straight from the factory. And I say that with an asterisk because we'll get in that in a moment. Third thing, the price. This guy's MSRP is a little bit on the high end, but I've seen the price of these guys be extremely reasonable, to the point that it's probably the cheapest micro pistol outside of Taurus that you can get your hands on. I'm not going to talk about prices here on YouTube, but I will say that the prices are extremely reasonable, and by far some of the best micro pistol prices on the market. Next thing is the feature set. I mean, this flat face trigger, the nice grip texture, 14 and 16 round magazine capacity, optics ready, night sights. It's got a Picatinny rail, so you can put lights, lasers, grenade launchers, all your fun stuff on there. Straight from the factory, these are all feature sets. In order to do this with the Glock 48, you have to get the MOS model. MOS model is expensive. And then that's when you get a Picatinny rail and an optics mount and all that stuff. I will say the Hellcats come with optics ready. Most of them come optics ready straight from the factory. They do have an option that doesn't. And the Sig P365XL are optics ready, and they have their proprietary rail system straight from the factory. So far, I am liking the feature sets. Next next pro, probably the last pro I will state on this, is the size. This is right up the alley of the perfect carry size. I'm a fan of this Glock 48 size pistol because it is large enough to get a good solid grip on. You get a large magazine capacity, and it has got a very skinny profile to make it extremely easy to conceal carry this pistol. I like this gun. It is a little bit bigger than my Shield Plus, but it is very easy to conceal carry. I mean, this is a great gun for that option. Now, that being said, after a month of shooting it, I do have some cons. First con is when I first took it out, I thought the gun was inaccurate as all heck because I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Oh, come on. Once I put the optic on it and I zeroed the optic to the sights, I still couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. So I started trying to figure out where my hold was. Found out from the factory, these sights are a little off. All right, guys, so I want you to go ahead and see what I'm looking at. Like I said, I'm gonna aim to that top right shoulder of this guy and show you what I'm seeing. As you notice, it's all hitting low and to the stomach area. So I'm going to shoot just over the shoulder and see if we can get some shots more towards the left side of the target. All right, so yeah, you can definitely see it is hitting it's hitting low left because I'm aiming, I'll show you on here, right about here, to hit here. And when I'm hitting here, when I'm aiming here, I'm hitting here. So gives you a good idea how far off the sights are straight from the box. So that is a negative in my eyes because you do have to zero a pistol right out from the from the box. I think they should be pretty close to zero right from the factory. So that is a big negative. So I will have to drift these sights and zero this optic to point of impact here pretty soon. I have not yet. Second con, because this pistol is not a super popular pistol, there's not a lot of holster companies making holsters for this gun with lights. The nice thing is it has the option to give you lights. The negative side is there's not many holster options out there for you. The reason I went with this Warriorland MA2 is because the MA2 comes with a holster straight from your purchase. This is a Glock 19 holster, but it fits this gun pretty well. There's a little bit of wiggle room. I can fix that with a little bit of felt if I needed to. But it locks in, and I have a decent holster to conceal carry with. That is a negative. And to me, that's an upsetting negative. It's not Mossberg's fault. It's the fact that the pistol hasn't taken off enough to where there's demand for those holster companies to make it. There are holsters for this gun without the light though. You can get like the DeSantis Slim Tuck, which is one of my favorite holsters for concealed carry. You can get it for this guy. So there are holsters available for it. It just sucks that there's not some with light capabilities straight from the factory. Next thing is magazines. Because it is not a super popular gun, and because they didn't go off of a popular footprint of magazines, magazines are harder to find and you probably have to order them online. Most gun shops are not going to carry these magazines straight in there on their wall. You're not going to walk in like you will with a Glock and just purchase a magazine off the wall and take it home, which is kind of an upsetting thing that that's the case. But you can find the magazines, and I will post a link in the description if you have one of these and you're having a hard time finding them. The last con I'm going to point out to this is the asterisk that I pointed earlier. One of the asterisks I pointed earlier was reliability. I say reliability with an asterisk because of the fact that it was 100% reliable from the factory. But I threw it in the dirt. Oh, look at that. First failure. She does not like the dirt. Let's get that round out. All right, let's let's go ahead and try that again. Oh yeah, she's not seating at all. So, this gun does not like the dirt. See? Oh, once you get her to seat though, once you get her to seat, she works just fine. Just a interesting point to point out. No lubrication and thrown in the dirt does make her stick up a little bit. Now this is without ever putting lubrication on the gun and after I've already shot a few hundred rounds through it. So it was a little dirty in the first place. Adding dirt to it added friction to the slide and made it to where it would not go into battery from racking it. All I had to do was do a slight tap on the rear, got it to seat, and then after that, it functioned flawlessly. So with an asterisk, the reliability is on there. That's the only malfunction I've had through the entire testing of this gun. And that was purely caused by the fact that I did not lubricate the gun. It was dirty from shooting a few hundred rounds. And then I buried it in soft sand. And I mean soft sand. So there was a lot of sand in the action. So I'm not going to fault the gun itself. I'm going to fault the conditions I put it through. But it is something that I wanted to point out to you guys, that it was a flaw that I did find in the gun. Now, I have not done that same test with my Glock 48 because my Glock 48 is really pretty and I don't want to throw it in the sand. But I have seen other people do similar tests with micro pistols, and a lot of times they do have failures in there. So that's not a big issue. It's just something I wanted to point out to you guys. But overall, my last thoughts on this guy, first thoughts, I should say, I guess. I don't know. My last thoughts on this guy is it is a really nice pistol. I really like the Mossberg MC2C. I really want to thank Mossberg for sending this out to me because without them sending out to me, I'm not sure I would have bought it before testing it. After testing it, I think it's well worth the money for it. And honestly, if I don't get to keep this one, I might buy one. I'm not sure. Mossberg hasn't reached out to me to let me know whether I have to return it or not. But if I don't get to keep this one, I'll probably buy one because this is a really nice gun and a very good addition to my carry rotation. I really like it. And I think you guys would like it too if you gave it a chance. The problem is it's not super popular. You don't see it in most gun shops. Most gun tubers did a video on it back in 2020 and no one's heard of it since. I think it's a good option out there now, especially nowadays. Even though it's 5 years old now, this gun holds up. Like, it is optics ready, night sights, light sight, light mounting capabilities, and a very slim profile. It is perfectly acceptable in 2025 to still run this guy. I am very happy with this gun, and honestly, like I said, if Mossberg doesn't let me keep this gun, I'm probably going to go out and buy one for myself. So in my opinion, definitely something you should add to your rotation. Great little pistol, extremely reliable, and just a fun gun for the price point that you pay for it. Definitely options out there for you. So if you ever get a chance, check out the Mossberg MC2C. All right, guys, if you liked that video, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. Comment in the comment section if you would pick up the Mossberg MC2C for yourself. Definitely a cool option in my opinion. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. Hit that little bell icon because YouTube has a way of just not telling my subscribers that I posted a new video. So hit that bell icon so you know when the next video drops. Also, if you haven't yet, check out the merch that we have on the store. We have it right here on the YouTube store profile, or you can go to www.gundeity.com where you can check out all the different merch that we have available. We got shirts, we got hats, we got mugs if you want mugs, cups if you want cups. I even got sweatshirts. I know it's summertime coming around the corner, but you know, some people like sweatshirts in the middle of summer. We got them. So check it all out. Check out www.gundeity.com. And also, if you have not followed any of my social platforms, I am Gun Deity on all social platforms except for TikTok. TikTok removed that stuff. That's okay. We don't like TikTok anyways. But all other social media platforms, it is Gun Deity, and I will post them right here on the bottom of the screen. Guys, as always, I'm Gun Deity, and I will see you heathens for the next one.